Daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning,
Dan,
Charles. Morning,
how you
everyone.
doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Beautiful fall weather here. Very
Oh
nice.
yeah, beautiful fall day in Knoxville, Tennessee. I am in a coffee shop because I want to be amongst the people. Sometimes you just want to be amongst the people, and
Yeah.
I'll also tell you something. The boys don't like it. The boys don't like it when I'm in a coffee shop. They
They
got
don't
real
like-
specific noise requirements, and I break those rules a little bit. But listen, Dan, sometimes you got to be out amongst the people.
That's right. And I think a little bit of excitement for, people watching the show to get, kind of a live experience. It's like, it's not Times Square or anything, but it's okay.
It's not Times Square, and it's in Powell, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Knoxville. Powell is about 2 minutes from here is where the sauna is. I get in the sauna every night.
Wow.
And last night in the sauna, I walked in. By far, it was the most people that I've ever seen in the sauna. It's about 14 people at the YMCA sauna. And we get in, and I sat down, and immediately I entered a conversation where they were saying, Jesus actually lived in Ethiopia. And
you walked into that one.
He said he lived in Ethiopia. The Nazis destroyed a lot of that chronological history. So people pretend like he didn't, that he did.
Wow.
And I kind of just, you kind of go into it and you just know what you're getting into. Every day is a new day in the sauna.
So that's not a heavy conversation in the sauna, right? That's
I would rather have that conversation a million times than some of the conversations I find myself in the sauna.
I agree.
You get conversations where they're just like, you're entering the sauna and they're like, nah, man, that thing's like 40 RPM. You rev that thing up enough and you'll get it. And you're like, I don't want to do this.
It just must be, Troy. There's got to be something there when you just take the clothes off, you have the towel on, the conversation just goes anywhere.
Oh, it flows all sorts of directions. And so, and then last night I found a little gas station by my house. I've lived in my place for 9 years and I drive past this place every day. I never think to go in. Well, they've got booths and they open at 6 a.m. I'm going to try the breakfast out one morning.
Wow. They have, what do you say? They had booths. What did you say? They have
booths there and they have breakfast.
Oh my.
And so you can try that there, so anyway, we'll see what
the
happens.
Show from the breakfast play. That would be
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. We have a very special guest in the chat this morning. It's from our Discord, Fish. Shout out, Fish. Hope you're doing well. I think he has had a rough couple days, and that's okay. We've all had a rough couple days in the market, depending on what you do at one point or another.
Yes.
Dan, the thing just wants to go up. It's a teenage goth child who refuses to grow up and just wants to do all the things all the time. That's what the market is.
Yeah, but and it's interesting. I mean, and I think that's, like you said, I think as traders, sometimes, you focus, you have your strategies that have been back tested, and you see, I mean, you can, if things are changing, you can back test to see, okay, is this legit? But again, I think perspective always helps me. I mean, when you look back, because you could say, oh, woe is me, this strategy never works again. But again, when you get a when you look at what has happened, since Thursday or Friday with basics, I think since Thursday's close in the SPX, you're up a couple hundred points or more. I mean, that's about a 2 standard deviation move. So not that helped, but I mean, it's trying to see, okay, am I down money because the strategy stinks or whatever? Or, it can only be one of two things, right? Either the price moved too far or whatever, or the volatility went against us. So at least volatility came up a little bit, right, yesterday. But I think, it's more focusing on the next, including today towards the end of the day, tomorrow and Friday, as they say, a good options where it could be a doozy, right? That at least you have catalyst. Doesn't mean, we've seen how, and that's where I think the back testing helps also, is that, everybody will say, well, you got all these big tech earnings Wednesday and Thursday night, so it'll hit the market Thursday and Friday, and then you have the FOMC in the later half of today. But you can back test these numbers and see, what does it usually do on an FOMC? What have you found in the back testing, Troy, for the FOMC in particular?
It's too little a data set. I mean, I've played around with it for a long time, for a number of years now.
Yeah.
We used to do shows. We used to do like special stuff in the Discord about it, but I have just found that it's hard to have one strategy. I mean, really, you can have a day where there's nothing burgers and you just sell an iron fly and you kill it. You could have a day where you buy a 5 delta straddle and kill it. That it's just so hard to. And so the way I approach it is each one at this point is different. I mean, I'm looking at this week and I'm saying, well, you have Mag 7 earnings, this week, and you also have FOMC. Yesterday was weird because vol was getting bid up. Like Friday's expiration was getting bid up a lot, I noticed.
Yeah.
And so then I start racking my brain. I didn't want to do anything based on today. Well, I say that actually. I'm about to show you some stuff that I did based on today. But I was looking at more this time around, the fact that we're up 150 and vol's creeping back up.
Oh yeah, that's because that is very interesting, isn't it? Because when you get speed to the upside, that'll usually, especially when you're near highs, it'll take the vol up. But I think you hit it right on the head, Troy. It's not just FOMC. There's some hot sauce here. It's FOMC plus the big tech earnings, plus maybe a little bit of China sprinkled on there, that you have some catalyst that could move it. And I think, like usually in back testing, correct me if I'm wrong, on the reverse iron condors, if you're going to test those over time as a strategy, you need to lean long deltas, right? Because the market goes up over time. But on a short-term thing, I was looking at yesterday, discretionary. That's the word. Yeah, discretionary.
Yeah, killed it.
Was looking at a Friday. I still am a Friday reverse iron condor. Friday's expiration, maybe buy a 30 to 35 delta call, and then sell your call against it 20 points up. Buy a 30 to 35 delta put, sell a put 20 points lower. Shout out to Amit was talking about this in our one of the folk in the community, and he, looking at these have worked when you have so many catalysts. What I like about these reverse iron condors, where you're buying like a 30, 35 delta, you're basically buying a strangle, buying the out of the money call and put, and selling your shorts 20 more points out of the money. What I like about it is, if you look at the expected move to Friday, which is a standard deviation, whatever, I think, I'm just doing this top of my head, which could be scary with the memory. I think it's like 90 points, the expected move till Friday, something like that. Well, with these reverse iron condors set up like that, you need maybe a 55-point move to 60. So you don't even need the full move. And you would just think, are we going to get a 50 or 60-point move one way or the other over the next 3 days, right? And you'd say, I bet there's enough catalyst that you take that you'd do a negative theta trade like that, but this would be more discretion, something, because it is kind of a powder keg. When you look at the FOM, it's not just the FOMC. You throw on all these earnings, it makes it potential. But, I mean, there's a lot of other things to look at, because the other side of the coin is it's a tremendously negative theta long Vega trade. I'm not as concerned with the long Vega. It's slightly long Vega, but it's that negative theta. Whereas if we're in the sea of death, kind of in the middle of the graph, once you get to maybe 90, half hour after the market opens, you're at a decision point, because these things can be down 40% quickly. So they're just, you just got to understand the Greeks enough to how you want to manage it. But anyways,
I agree completely. I mean, it's a weird week. It made me nervous, to be honest, because yesterday, for those who weren't privy to the party, we talked at the end of the show yesterday. I had a automated trade. It's my favorite trade, actually. It's one of my favorite ones. And it's a 923 double calendar in SPX. And that son of a gun market was pre-market up 20. And the way that worked, it was probably going to get Delta exit. It's one of the rails, which I love rails.
Yeah.
But I had a strong sense that we were going to fade the market. And I told everybody yesterday, I halted management. Yeah. Right after Matt said, hey, if you feel like you're halted management, you're too large in size. And I said, I agree with what you're saying. I'm halting management. And we did that. So I want to report back today, I am a stock market genius. I do want to say that. I want to, in all humbleness.
I'll second that for you.
In all humbleness, I am a stock market genius. It did fade, and I was able to get out at a more reasonable price than the Delta exit would have got me out at. Here's the lessons learned from that. In the long span, you would have been fine if you didn't do that. And that's the kind of key. You would have been fine if you just trusted the back test. One trade's not going to kill your account if you're not oversized, to Matt's point. Matt's absolutely right.
Well, and in the back test, the back test was done without emotion. When you halt management, there's a bit of emotion involved.
Very emotional.
Was that 923? What was the expiration of the short?
Where are we at now? 69?
No, I mean, was it what day was it this night? Was it expired this Friday?
No. I was like 1 day into that trade.
Oh, you're only 1 day in? Okay, so that was like next week, a week from Friday.
Yeah, that was the problem. If it was closer, I would have been sitting real pretty. But
so it hit the short strike or above right away, or
it hit the short strike in one session.
Oh my goodness! See, that's way, you want it. That's the thing. You want it. You want it at that short strike on a DC, but not that soon.
Yeah. Now, Good Origami Man's asking a great question, Troy. Why didn't you just turn off the call leg Delta exit? That is a great question.
Oh yeah.
Which there's not a great answer, to be honest. I literally just sometimes I find it easier to halt management and go from there. That's just my personal thing. That's why I don't make support videos and do documentation, because I'm not your guy for that. So that's what Matt absolutely like. Why did you not just hit the call leg Delta exit? Why didn't you just remove that? Yeah. I'm what you call in the field an idiot. So
I'm what they call in the
field. So you're fine with that. But speaking of idiot, Dan, I'll say this: I got the upgrade in Tesla last night. There's a new upgrade. I might not ever drive again, Dan. It took me from my driveway to the coffee shop and found a parking spot in the coffee shop this morning.
Found a part.
Yeah, finds it, backs it in. It was a great ride. If I could go long Tesla, I would.
Well, you did a self-drive. This was a self-driver?
Self-driving. So
you've been doing. See, I'm still a little skittish on it. You've been doing that for a while. You're comfortable with it?
Pretty comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable with it. Now, here's the thing I noticed. It's not really a comfortability thing. It's not that I don't have confidence in it. I really do like driving.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Right.
like being able to drive, and so that's the kind of like if there was a day where it really is robo taxi, where they're like you don't have to pay attention, just do whatever you want. If you want to take a nap, I'd be all over that. I'd be sleeping. I would get 3 or 4 more hours a day of sleeping. Um, but I just don't. Yeah. So I still drive a little bit, but I certainly do that. I
Now, are you
certainly.
comfortable if you're on the highway going 60 or 70? Are you comfortable letting the car do it?
I'm more. I'm more. There's a lot of comments coming in. I'm more. I'm more comfortable on the highway than my roads because they have more
Wow.
data. They have more data.
Oh, they do. Okay.
You know, you think about it, there's more occurrences on the highway for Tesla than on Dry Gap Pike in Knoxville,
Okay.
Tennessee.
But your eyes are open. I mean, were you the one telling me like if you're there and you start sleeping, does it wake you up or something?
Oh yeah, if you take your eyes off, it's like, hey, hey, hey.
Right.
And apparently, there's like a 3-strike policy. I think if you screw up a bunch of times, they'll just remove full self driving from the ability for you
Okay.
because they don't want that data set in there.
Hmm.
You know, they don't want that data set. And you know, it's like a prop trading firm. They don't want the guy in there that's like just, you know,
So
blowing
it's
everything up.
self-driving, but they don't trust enough to self-drive. They want you, if the car were to screw up, am I correct here? You're bailing it out, right? If something
Yes, although I think that's this is my I could be eating the Tesla food a little bit too much, but my theory is I actually think that might be more a state and legal and federal thing at this point than an actual technology
Okay.
limitation.
Yeah.
I think they probably could right now just let you not pay attention
Wow.
and it would be okay. I think right now for because insurance is so messy with that stuff because it's still your insurance and all that
That's
stuff.
right. That's right.
I'm sure there's so many loopholes where it's like, no, you're still in control.
Yeah.
But off the record, Dan, I'll tell you later, maybe tomorrow, I'll tell you about a conversation I had with a police officer this week who said Texas, right when Fish said that, that said it is it's not a problem. It's actually a solution. It's an annoying solution for police officers, for people who are drunk drivers, because they have to have probable cause to pull you over.
Yeah.
But that dang Tesla drives so good that if you're doing full self driving, you know, a lot of people who are drunk, that you don't know it because the car is just driving so well.
Wow. So that's created a problem for them.
Yeah, they can't pull people.
Can't
Which I mean, it's a problem and a solution.
Solution, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
nice.
Anyway, listen. I've got 2 things I want to show Dan, and this is going to be a public humiliation a little bit. Could be a good trade. I don't know. But I've got 2 things that I did yesterday. Papa went shopping a little bit for some options plays. I get a little carried away with modeling sometimes, and I start doing stuff just to see. I'm what they call in the field a moron. And so anyway, here we go. Yeah, obviously, Fish, we are not advocating on the OO show for people drunk driving.
That's right.
And driving, you know,
right.
You know, click it or ticket, get yourself a, people, what do they call it, a designated driver.
Yeah.
I've heard people describe that as a Soberman. Bring a Soberman pincher with you. Is a way to do that. So anyway, there we go. All right, here we go. First trade. Dan, this is an RUT. I went back to the old world and I got myself an RUT double calendar.
Wow.
And it was yesterday when I put it on a 923. But now it's an 820. There's a 924 yesterday. It's an 823 today. And the deltas of this were, I hear in the background a wild sound. That might be me or you.
No, that's the hair dryer.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it'll work itself out. Yeah. All right. So the 923 or 823, and the deltas on this, the short put was 28 delta,
Yeah.
And the short call was 29 delta.
Okay.
And I haven't done rut in forever, Dan.
Yeah.
I know, Dan, you used to do a bunch of rut stuff. Do you still interact with it at all?
It's been a while. I mean, so I can't give like a up to date on it, but I mean, historically, people would trade rut. I mean, a little bit of diversification, but if the market gets hammered or goes up, that it's not a big difference. But I think the volatilities, you get a little more premium in rut. That's, I think, for people looking for a little more premium, that's good. The negative is the liquidity usually isn't as good, at least what I've heard in the past. But I think it's a decent vehicle, and it's much cheaper dollar wise, right? It's less than half the amount of SPX.
Yeah.
You chose a little bit higher delta on the. Would you say you use a little bit higher delta in this example for the shorts versus maybe what you do a 923 in the SPX, or similar deltas?
Similar deltas.
Okay.
In fact, I wanted to test it because I wanted to test this idea of stop loss ratio, a higher stop loss ratio, and I would consider 0.46 a higher stop loss ratio for that type of and so I wanted to just test it, and we'll see what happens. For those who are super confused, no, we don't do back testing in rut, and you can't automate trades in rut currently. But what you will be able to do when this tool comes out, the new modeling tool, is be able to model rut, and then you can just put it in your brokerage. And so that's what I did yesterday. I modeled it out here, and then I put it in my brokerage. I saved this model to where I can just monitor it. Bada boom, bada bing. Pretty straightforward. And for those who don't know what rut is, great question. Rut is basically the SPX for the Russell index. So, and it does behave differently for all the, SPX has so much of NASDAQ built into it.
Yeah.
Russell's a different beast a little bit. Would you say that, Dan?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you've seen times, right, Troy? I mean, and it could go either way. SPX could be unchanged and rut could be up 1%.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. So there's the two animals don't always go together.
Well, I think yesterday when SPX was up, I don't know what it was up percentage wise. It was up 20, so a 10th, 20th of percent. I don't know. Rut was almost down 1% yesterday.
Wow. So, and that's why you could see right there, Troy, the implied volatility. That's definitely not an SPX number. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
A little more juice here.
Yeah, that's right. And so, it's a DC, which is what we like to play a lot of times. But what's interesting about this is you look at through time. I mean, what are you trying to do? What you're trying to do, let me zoom in here. What you're trying to do is basically let it sit in that range.
Oh yeah.
Without IV, and then at the end, you don't mind if it heads towards those poles a little bit here and here. That's kind of the name of the game, here and here, without it just absolutely crapping the bed. And my theory is rut at this point might not crap the bed. I mean, it might hold on to a little bit some of that vol, because it just moves uncorrelated. And so it's in my mind, Dan, it's really the only index you can do that kind of is it's uncorrelated as it can be, as possible from SPX, from VIX vol.
Yeah, and I don't know what the vols have done in rut versus, I forget what the vol thing in rut is, Troy. I mean, SPX looks more at VIX. Rut, I forget the name. RVX, is it? RVX, the vol one?
Yeah, I think that's right. Right.
But I just think with these type of trades now, 823 going into, and I'm just making the assumption that rut volatility has come down with the VIX volatility over the last week and a half. I'm assuming that. I could be wrong, but if that's the case, I'm comfortable with that. You've got some room here, right, for a move.
Yeah.
Just looking in the current environment, but the volatility's been low. You know, that's why a 923 in SPX right now. I mean, I'm comfortable with the Vega, right? You get a little more Vega when you have 2 weeks in between, but I think the graph looks pretty good, and you're far enough. How does the deltas on this, Troy? The deltas starting out are a little long, right? But
although it's dropped a little bit, I might be negative delta, like one short, 1.5 short right now.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'll have to look at that later. Once the market opens, we'll kind of refresh everything and see.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I thought to the question someone just asked, can we have rep back test and automation? No promises on the automation. I can speak to the back test. We probably won't. And the reason, listen, I'm going to give Matt a shout out real quick, because early on, I wanted to have RUT in there, and we did some studies. That's the name of the game this week. Every time we do anything for 2 minutes, we consider itself a study.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of what we do. We did some studies, but it is really hard to backtest RUT, and the volume is hard. I mean, I will give you just one off anecdotal example. You know, I put 923s on all the time, and I might have 5 cent slippage, maybe 10 cent slippage every once in a while.
Yeah.
Right. I had 25, 30 cent slippage on this, and it took me, even with like 15 cents over, it took me like 3 to 4 minutes to get this thing on, to fill it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not good. It's hard to backtest something like that. You really want data.
Yeah, and you know, Troy made a good point. So you said 25 cent slippage, right? And that's on a $2,600 vehicle or $2,500 vehicle. Whereas you think about SPX, it's a $6,000 vehicle.
That's
you
right.
would think more slippage, and you said, I don't get more than 10 cents. So, I mean, definitely much better liquidity, which is everything to a trader.
But I'll show you one that does have a little liquidity right now. At least yesterday it did, because of earnings. So let me show you the other one.
Hey, Troy, could you just say one more? I'm sorry. Please. On that, you're talking about that short-long ratio of 0.46. Maybe give a little bit of thought on how you, as you were thinking about how you wanted maybe the short-long ratio on this, or how you're looking at it. What was your thinking? Because you said I think you said you liked it at 0.46.
Yeah, I just have done some testing in SPX, and when you get anything above like a 0.45, the short long is just basically your short premium divided by your long premium.
Yeah.
So how much juice is in the shorts, is kind of the thing. So if you had a one stop loss, or I always say stop loss, one short loss ratio, you would have the shorts the same price as the longs, which would mean the shorts are really, really juiced, right?
Yeah, right.
And so a 0.45 is a healthy juice in my mind. And so I just wanted to test that. I wanted to see when there's a healthy juice and the shorts and RUT are about a little less than half the longs, how that plays out. And this might work out terribly, but I'm interested to see. Again, I used to trade RUT all the time, and shout out Dan Sheridan for teaching me that, because I had a RUT double calendar, or Dan had a RUT double calendar that I would do all the time. A long time ago. When dailies came out, it kind of started blowing RUT out of the water.
Good point. Yeah, it used to be a little better.
Yeah.
So Troy, would you say that like the short long ratio, as you're coming into the next 2-3 days, the short options might be a little bit pumped up. You might have a little bit. Would you expect the short long ratio to gradually, as we get through the rest of the week, start decreasing?
That's my goal. That's my goal. So when do you take this off? I would take it off probably if the short long goes under 35.
Okay.
Just to get out. I would also take it off at like a 10-15% profit, just based on some back testing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And SPX, again, I don't know if it'll translate, but just back testing in SPX. See what'll happen with it. But another one, Dan, I want to show you real quick is another DC, but this one's probably going to be taken off today. And what this is, I don't know if you can see this. This is a Microsoft earnings DC.
Wow.
So, Dan, the shorts on this are 530. I don't even remember what the shorts were before, or the deltas. So to be honest, but the shorts were the 530, 565, and the longs are the same. The 530, 565
Okay.
strike. And the short loss ratio on this one, the reason I did this, the short loss ratio on this one is 0.8.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you? That tells you that this Friday's shorts, no surprise, are absolutely juiced for earnings.
Yes.
And so, Dan, here's my question. This is a real technical question. I don't know because I did some really high deltas. I think I might have hit 30 delta on this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not, I don't even know what the expected move is, but I think we're well, it's very possible that we could go, to 530 or 565
Yeah.
in a $500 stock. But I'm interested in this for this reason, Dan. What I'd like to see is some weird vol today where the shorts come out just a little bit before the market news. And sometimes that happens.
Yes.
Sometimes
it's the right.
if we do that, I would like to um, do it. Charles, this is kind of the point. It actually does decay sometimes before the event. Is what we're saying. Like we've put these on, and this is someone who does long straddles. I too like flies or broken wing butterflies for a vol crush, Tom.
Yeah.
This is just testing. We're just testing something with the short long ratio.
Yeah.
The long has to absolutely get crushed. So here's the question, Dan.
Yeah.
Do you take this off before the event, or do you keep this on based on the structure right now?
I mean, here's my response. I would love to take this off before the move, right? If they would give us some theta and now I don't have to deal with the price move, yeah, that would be number one choice. Realistically, right? Will they take the shorts down enough before the event to let us out? My guess is no, right? They're going to make you go through the move. Now, if you go through the move, now you look at the expected move. The thing with these things comes down to one question. What are they going to do with the volatility of the longs? When you're looking at the graph here, right? The green graph is expiration, correct?
Yeah.
So that's clearly looking, hey, if they take everything out of the shorts, the graph looks wonderful, right? What they're not showing you on the graph, right? What they're not showing you on the graph is if the longs come down X point, it could put rain on the parade, right? Because if the vols of the longs come down, it's going to push the break evens on both sides inward, and it's going to take the middle of the graph and sink it. So that's really not that you can't make money on a double calendar for earnings, but it's a little more complex. You can't, you have to do what Troy's doing, manipulate the graph for reality, right?
Yeah.
And that's really the trump card, so to say, that what are they going to do with the volatility of the longs? Because I think the expected move, what do you have? You have like 15 points either way, right? Or 20 points, 15 on the downside, 20 on the upside, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I don't remember what the expected move was, but let's assume you have the expected move. Troy, why don't you explain a little bit what you did with what variables that you changed to get the graph looking so wonderful? I'm joking.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the joy of a modeling tool that can do different IVs is that you can kind of model reality. And right now you look at IV and you say 62.5, that's great. Well, I'm going to crush it. This thing, I mean, it's going to be awesome. But here's the problem. The IVs, this IV is so inflated. That's the short long ratio. Right?
Yeah, that's going to get tanked. Yeah.
It is going to just get obliterated.
Annihilated. Yeah.
Yeah. And if it got obliterated, you would be sitting pretty if nothing else happened.
Oh, and you have more room. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You'd be very happy. The problem is this 43 IV, could go down to sub 20, maybe.
Yeah, and that's the
Depending on what
question.
happens, it
Yeah.
could go to 15. I mean, so suddenly that DC is not a great trade.
Yeah,
And
and it's just seeing kind of what was the vols on a on a 9 or 10 day. What's your or 20? Your long's 23 days. What was a long a month ago or whatever, and that's what it's going to come back to, right? I don't know if it'll come down to 15. I don't remember much on the implied volatilities, but it could still
yeah,
be good. Yeah,
so that's the kind of
that's the
name of the
worst
game.
case scenario. Yeah,
Yeah, and one of the ways, if you were going to do this, and I don't, I'm just again, I'm now for the sake of saying it, skin in the game. I do have a position on it. It's not just modeling. I did put a position because I do want to see, but one of the things that's interesting is for these type of earnings double calendars or any earnings trade, what I would encourage you to do is look at the normal IV term structure before earnings and after earnings.
that's right.
Because what is Friday? What should Friday be? And that's really your question. What's a normal Friday? What's a normal 9-day IV going to look like in a stock that doesn't have earnings? It might be 15, and so and it's all relative to itself all the time. But if you do that, that's kind of the secret to how to know how to structure those moves.
And you hit it. I mean, with the modeling software, having the implied volatility separate like that will be a huge thing for playing, especially mixed month earnings plays, because it's really, you have to manipulate the long low enough to get a realistic graph. Because when you look at a mixed month calendar coming into earnings, you think, right? If you haven't had your coffee in the morning, you think you've discovered gold, right?
That's
You're
right.
like, how can it lose? I mean, you look at an at the money or a double calendar coming into earnings, you're like, explain to me how I lose money. And I think you just did a good job of explaining how you can just manipulate the long, because the graph gives you the short volatility out, but it doesn't deal with the long. And so that's,
and that's the kind of thing. And this is the joy of it, and this is the reality of it. Like, this is the danger of it and the opportunity of it. This, I'm trying to be poetic. This is but like you can look at this and be like, oh, I modeled out a DC. I'm a genius. But if you don't go all the way with it and actually bring reality into the model, you're just painting with crayons. That's all you're doing.
And we'd like to, it might be nice to look at this, Troy, a post-mortem on Friday or whatever, because I guarantee you the short loss ratio will not be a 0.80 probably.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
At the end of the day.
That's exactly right. No, we'll probably do it tomorrow, because I will either have closed this for a profit or close it for a loss, or be really, really sad probably. But either way, I'm here for it.
And you bring up a good point, Troy. I'll call it the leakage factor. You do sometimes before earnings get some leakage in the shorts, sometimes. But the question is that enough to give you a decent profit? Or because let's face it, with a mixed month trade where you're selling the short and the long are both having, if you're going to go through the event, you'd rather not have the event, right?
That's right.
Especially for this type of trade. But if you can get enough out, which I'm guessing you can't, but I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, and listen, I will say, I mean, again, I know people, you might think to yourself, he's being unrealistic, and I could be unrealistic. You never know. But I mean, I've done it long enough to where I have seen double calendars in SPX absolutely get crushed the day before, like a 1-2. I used to do 1-2s all the time.
Yeah.
And you put it on at 3:50 p.m. So it's basically like zero. You put it on the day before at 3:50, and in 10 minutes it loses 70% of its value.
Oh yeah.
And the next morning it reinflates. Why did it do that? I don't know. That's market regime stuff. But when earnings is a mini version of that, where I bought long straddle. Listen, otherwise, to the point, you could just buy long straddles a week before earnings and kill it, but you can't.
You can't. Right. Because
Now,
Yeah.
why is that? Because they will absolutely take IV out at various times and just reinflate it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it seems like an easy concept, right? Okay, Vol's going to go up into earnings. I'll buy a straddle or a strangle 9 days out, ride the Vol up, take my
Ride the
money
vol.
up. It doesn't work like that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. So it goes both ways. It goes both ways. So anyway, listen, I thought that was fun. I like looking at models, and I like busting my own dreams and thinking like that. So listen, we'll do a postmortem tomorrow. Matt will be back with us, and we'll go from there. So you guys have a great trading day. Survive whatever's about to happen the next 7 hours of trading.
Yeah.
Apparently, hey Dan, apparently, real quick, before we leave, apparently there's a comet that's supposed to destroy the Earth today as well. I just saw that. So
I like that. That's a new one. Yeah.
I was reading an article about this comet that some people think's an alien and most people think's a comet. Wow. And what my favorite, it's financial news. It's always financial news people that say this. They say, listen, if that I can't even get I was going to bed and I read this. I said, if that comet strikes the Earth, we could have a massive stock market crash.
That is a great statement. That is a great statement. Yeah.
I thought to myself, if a comet crashes on the Earth, I'm probably not worried about my VIX calls.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
Isn't that something? Yeah, that's a great comment. Yeah.
I love it. So